am back. You already know what it is. It's about that time. That good old Wednesday. What should we call this? Nah, what you really think. What you really thinking, you know. What's a thought about these words? About your absolute value. It's to be absolute. You got your abs that protects your organs. And you got your soul that's living inside of your avatar. Right? See if I can get this to stay today. Right? Again, you got your abs that protects your organs. And then you got your soul that lives in your avatar. We're talking about absolute value today. Absolute is to be extreme about, the things that you believe in, or you may not even believe in. You just act like you believe in it, and it'll just become absolute. Absolute in mathematics means there's never a negative in that value of that number. Whenever you add a plus or minus, if there's an absolute value, it's always going to be absolute, which is a positive number. Everything is of value. Everything is of absolute value. Everything is a positive. It doesn't matter what you think, what you go through. Say for instance, you lost your job. You lost your car. You lost your boyfriend all at one time. You think you're going through something, right? But there's always a positive to it. There's always a gain. You might find yourself in a situation where you start to focus more on you. Sit back and recollect about your acts, about what you were doing, your travel. And also, what was the third one I did? And then, like I said, yourself, right? I'm going to take my time on this one. When you're going through absolute phases and changes in your life, it's time for you to regroup. Think about the things that you might have done. Sometimes, absolute value can be played as a game. I was talking about this the other day. About how, a pimp and a whore, or a lost woman. And you got a man who, kind of needs something, but he ain't going to tell you that. So you come to him with all your problems, all your sorrows, all the bad stuff that didn't happen to you. Let me tell y'all something. Never share everything with somebody. I don't give a fuck if it's a group, if it's the people that you trust. Never tell everybody everything. Never tell nobody nothing. The information that you gain most of the time, what's for you is for you. And if your soul allows you to share it, then share it. That's absolute. Never step outside of yourself to gain from somebody else, or to make yourself lesser of a value to them. And that's where, the pimps and the whores come through, where the man, even though that you're in this negative space. You feel like you ain't got nothing. And then you see that somebody can probably, quote unquote, help you. But in the long run, you need to help your damn self. Help yourself. So, when you're dealing with somebody who you think that can help you, most of the time you either get thrown off. Peace. You get thrown off track. You might start doing some things that you probably never thought that you'll be doing. You know, with a pimp and a whore, he probably, could build her up, put some money in her pocket, tell her to dress herself up, and then she got to go out and go put that work in. Good looking. She got to go out and put that work in, right? He all building her up like, yeah, you can do this. We can do this together. The more money we make, we could go out and go, just like selling her a dream. You feel me? But making it seem like it's an absolute value to her. Where it's only benefiting him in a way. Now, say when things don't benefit him, and it ain't going the way that he think that it's going to go. He might get a little anger spell, start beating up on her and stuff. Talk down to her and then build her up. Talk down to her, then build her up. But then after he beat her up, he gonna go out, get her some clothes, do the same thing he did, build her up again. Get her some clothes, tell her, all right, I love you, blah, 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 all that fake love, right? The question is, do you love yourself? So do you love me? No. It's about relative thought. Relative thought is kind of like you comparing, quantities to the original. See how they can relate to another, how you can basically feed her sorrows and also make it like a one-up, like you coming up, right? It could always be a negative or a positive in that. And when you're in relative thought, it's almost like persuasion. Because there's no, perspective in a change. No perspective in a change. It's like, oh, this is my perspective. But then you try to, manipulate the fact that, oh, yeah, I'm helping you do this. I put you on. I did this so we can do this. One-on-one what that is. Persuading. Controlling. Just because she came to you with all her little sorrows, with all she done been through, and this is men too. But men do it more. And then they end up just laying on your couch, and everything that they got them, everything that you got them, basically, it's like they coming up off of you. Then it don't always end like that, right? So even if you try to snap out of something like that, it's hard because you're mentally influenced. So now it's like you're under a drug, almost. And then it's more like you don't even start to think about your morals and your values. Is this absolute? Is this giving me a positive up, one up? Am I growing? And is it really truly beneficial to me? If I gotta go through all these things just to have something, or make somebody, or somebody to go through this just for somebody to love me, you shouldn't have to. Oh. There's no perspective or change, and there's only a small amount of time where you only have a small amount of time where you can think for yourself. Like, he's thinking for you. He's telling you what to do. Say if you don't get the money or you don't get the bag whenever it's supposed to be this certain amount of much, he's then going to try to control the whole situation. And then eventually he going to be trying to sit in the room with you and the dude that's supposed to be giving you the bag that's paying. he gonna fuck up the whole thing. Because he's trying to control everything. And what people don't understand is that you can't control everything. Everything does not work in your favor at all times, especially if it's not in absolute value. If it's immoral, it ain't gonna work out. It's gonna work out a little bit, you know. It's gonna work out for just this much longer. But I guarantee if you switch up after you gain from one thing, switch that shit up. Switch up what you if you feel like it's immoral, but it's making you a little bit of money. I don't give a dang what it is. Switch it up. Put it into something else. Fold your money. Put your money up or invest it into something else. So therefore there can be value in it. Shoot, sometimes you gotta start off the way you start off. Start from the bottom, how you know. But it ain't always gotta be like that. You ain't always gotta give all your knowledge to nobody. What's for you is for you. What you've gained is for you. You ain't always gotta give nothing to nobody. Nothing. She don't have to give all her freaking money to that man. You know what I'm saying? This is just, an example. You don't always have to do that. Save a little money for you to put up. So when you want to get out of certain situations, you can go ahead and move around. And you ain't got to act like, you ain't got to feel like you need him. Or he ain't got to, all that nagging stuff in your ear in the back of your head and all them thoughts. You can leave all that alone. You can move around, hop in your car and get the fuck on. You hear me? You can go. That's free will, in a way. They talking about all these red flags on Facebook and on Twitter and all that. You a red flag. Everybody is a red flag to an extent. Everybody don't agree with you. You don't agree with them. Some things that you do in your life, you may think that it's an absolute value, but at the end of the day, it don't have anything, don't place no value on nobody but yourself. You don't have to be around everybody. You don't have to share your goal with everybody. Your presence. Shoot, sometimes everything about you could be a red flag, but it could work for you. It can work for you. So being manipulative, is a function or a tactic that can manifest a positive or a negative outcome. It's all an influence, But what I was just saying is like when you're in these spaces and you're not saving no money, then you have no room to think outside for yourself. You're not gaining, you're not saving no money, even though you're getting a little bit of cash or you're getting a little bit of something. Now, when you begin to think outside yourself and save money and put some money up, you can give whatever you decide to whatever, just so it can grow and make them feel like they're gaining. This is called multi-dimensional thinking. When you can start to place your values into different things, and this is within thoughts, and you can place yourself in different places, then you have the opportunity to go into multi-dimensional thinking. You're no longer on the flat side of it, Multi-dimensional thinking, it can relieve you in a way from stress. It can also allow you to cope. Go do some stuff by yourself. Shit, go make some money by yourself. Go stand in the corner. I don't know. It's a weird analogy, but shit, if you're gonna do it for a man, go do it. You can do it for yourself. You can absolutely do it for yourself. Again, when I started this live off, I said we're talking about the absolute value. You have the abs. You have the abs that protects all your organs, and then you have your soul that's within your avatar. So if you're not building your abs or building a strong foundation, a strong firmament within your body, your organs, all that shit is exposed. Somebody punch you in the stomach and you just, hey, You probably piss or poop on yourself or something like, whoa. There's no strength. You have to build strength. You just totally just exposed. That's mean within the mind, within your shell, where you at in your mind. And if somebody can see a weakness inside and you tell them all your weaknesses and how people treat you all the time and, just giving them all your business and stuff, they can pierce through you so quickly. And they can tear you even more. They can tear you down worse than what you already done been through. Why would you want to go through something like that? Why would you want to be in that type of relationship with somebody where it feels like they building you, but they not? It don't even feel like they building you. It just feel like you trapped. Build your foundation. Build your abs. So therefore your soul can be a lot more stronger and you can go through multi-dimensional thinking and thoughts and place yourself in different spaces so you can elevate at all times. It ain't about a man. It ain't about a woman. It's about you building a strong foundation for yourself. Don't ever let nobody change you, or don't let your ego persuade you into thinking that you're not who you are, that you're supposed to be doing what everybody else wants you to do. Or you want to be loved. You got to love yourself. You got to go within and then come out. Go within, then come out. It's called input, output. What you put into yourself, there's no output. Hey, family. So when you're going down these paths and you're thinking about an absolute value, absolute thinking, it says a short or sporadic, spontaneous. Whether if it's a negative or positive, mostly it takes place when at a point of devastation, tragedy, or a life-changing event. Unfortunate times. You have to regroup. You have to cope, clear your mind, breathe, meditate, pray. Listen to music. Whatever you like to do, go play a sport. Whatever talent, whatever gift you have, hone in on that. Take your time to go back into your youth and bring forward. Because if not, then you're gonna be stuck thinking that being an adult is of absolute value where, oh, I'm supposed to be like this and that's it and that's all. It gotta be like this. And then you start to be like, why? Why this happened to me? Why this gotta be me? What did I do? Because you're not thinking multidimensionally. I don't know if that's a word, but it is today, okay? Multidimensional thoughts where you can place yourself in different avenues or even place your money in different things, stock, housing, into your kids, bank accounts, get a couple of bank accounts, spread your money out. Your money don't have to be in one place. You don't have to be in one place. You don't have to be stuck. There's no such thing. No such thing as being in one place because your thoughts travel. You travel. And once you understand that, then you can always move forward in any situation that you go through. Did you know that, being in absolute thinking where your thoughts never change or you always judgmental towards somebody, or, you got them one friends or them one cousins who always judgmental. Like, why you like her? I ain't never liked her. I ain't never talked to her. Like, damn, you don't even know her. Have you ever sat down and have a conversation with her and him? You know him? No. No, but I heard. Like, you heard. You heard. Wow, I guess you don't know that person. Not bad, y'all. Do you know that type of thinking? You can get an illness. You can get depression. Anxiety. You can even get Parkinson's disease. Did y'all know that? Having a negative thought, having anxiety and depression all the time, you can gain Parkinson's I can't even talk. Disease. Your nerves is all jacked up. You know, somebody but like, you getting on my nerves. Did you know that can lead into an actual nerve disease? Like, you can get your nervous system be all jacked up. Nervous system all jacked up. And then you wonder why when you get older, you be like, oh yeah, I got, at 50 years old, you shaking and going through them absolute thoughts and the absolute values. Don't nobody want to be around nobody negative all the time. You don't never want to be around nobody who hate being wrong, who makes you feel beneath them just because they want to be right all the time. Downing you through words and actions. You know how you got like one of them friends who like, y'all always get into it? Y'all always get into it for something that's just so small. Every time. But then, they act all crazy toward you when you're with you, but then don't want to be around you. Be quick to get rid of you. They're like, oh yeah, I miss you, girl. Where you been? Where you been, girl? I'm about to come kick it with you. As soon as they come and kick it with you, what? It's an argument, it's a fight. Over something little. That's because they got enemy. They don't like you. They don't have any type of you to bring no. It's like they bring no value to you, but they love you so much that you bring so much value to them. That's just like with the pimp and the hoe. They don't even really like you like that, but they know you bring something to them, to the table, that brightens them up, that pushes them up. And you ain't even gotta be all flashy or gotta have everything in anything. Is that you have a genuine heart, a genuine soul. And then they try to suck up all your energy out of you. Try to make you all negative, have these negative thoughts. You got to understand that even though it's negative, there's always an absolute value when it comes full circle. You can literally get that person out of your life by let me just tell you, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with you being around and you always want to act all funny and weird when that's not the type of friends you want to be around. They never change. They're thinking about the outside where they started focusing on them, but then they want to use you to one up, to elevate, because everybody likes you. Some people might just like you because they know that that they're only liked because of the things that they have. But then you have a person that's liked because of who they are, because of the person, their personification. When you get into, more of like an absolute value, it's really a construction, like being a social path in a way. But when there is wisdom, it's way more farther than that. It's way more deeper than having these thoughts of absolute, when you can be firm, but you have to be factual, and then you have to really know in the inside and out that this is what you know. If you could begin to show somebody genuinely instead of being all harsh and being manipulative, manipulative and trying to what are you? Being manipulative and think you about to get over on somebody, that ain't gonna help. That ain't gonna get you nowhere at all. So it's like being very sure and extreme, And also, like how when somebody is like so scared of cats, so scared of, bugs, and, it's like they so scared of something that they never even gave it a chance, like a phobia. I'm not going to get into like the planets and stuff, but having a phobia, that actually comes from an outside world outside of you with thought. So it transferred that that has been transferred inside of you to have a phobia. Like, where did you? And then you wonder where you're really from. I'm not gonna get deep, but ask yourself, why do you have a phobia? Give yourself a chance to break that phobia. Because once you break these boundaries and these phobias and these pet peeves, and it's okay to have pet peeves, but once you start to live outside of what you've bound yourself to be, then you will live a lighter life. You'll be a lot more in control about the things that comes inside and outside of your life. You can literally control everything. Oh my God. Control everything. Wow. Yeah, they fucking, they know. Cause you don't know nothing. Just forget about all the things that you heard. Because you don't know nothing. You better stop fronting. You don't know nothing. Just forget about all the things that you heard. You gotta unlearn. You gotta unlearn to relearn. Reprogram yourself. Because if you don't in this world, you're gonna be trapped and stuck. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna do it this way. You're gonna be trapped and stuck. My bad, y'all. You know, just remember that all things is a game. It's like setting goals and measuring time in between to complete an objective. Sure, there's, opposites, is polarity, right? Because when you got an absolute value, it's a 2, and then it's a 1, and it's a 1. That represents polarity. But it also will tell you that there's duality in all things. So there's always going to be a positive and absolute value. It ain't going to never be nothing different. It's always going to be a positive value out of all of these things. So if you're thinking that something negative or something bad is happening to you, always remember that it looks like this. This is what life looks like. It always looks like this. This is duality. This is polarity. This is what life looks like. No negative value at all. It's a distance. You're going to have to take this time, the absolute 2, to go to the negative absolute 2 to get a 4. It's always going to be like that. Don't forget that. If you start to look into your life as in the mathematics, this is how you use mathematics throughout life situations. Throughout the words that you use, the actions that you take, how you travel in life, how you perceive yourself. That's how you use mathematics. You don't use mathematics like with a job and all these other things that they tell you, unless you got a job that's dealing with mathematics, but you still have to put it into reality. And then for me to understand mathematics, what happened is that I had to put it into real life situations. I had to live to understand mathematics. Because if I wasn't living, if I didn't have any if I didn't have any experience, I wouldn't be able to share these things or even gain any knowledge about what I know or what I've learned in school. It didn't have nothing to do with my job at all. Nothing to do with what I got going on in my personal life unless I was to add it, right? Add it into my life. This ain't gonna stick. You know? Polarity. One cannot exist without the other. Just understand that. It's up to the individual to make a difference and change by removing the ego, the emotion, and fulfilling true love. That is the power. That's true love is the real power, y'all. Once you understand what true love is and what love is, it ain't got nothing to do with relationships. It ain't got nothing to do with let me borrow $40 till tomorrow. It ain't got nothing to do that with that. It ain't got nothing to do with if you do this, you love me. This you prove to me you love me. If you do this, that means you love me. Like I don't understand that. If I gotta do that to make you feel like I love you or make it seem like you love me, I ain't gotta do that shit. It ain't worth it. True love. True love. True love. It's a whole power. It ain't got nothing to do with no relationships, y'all. Okay, a relationship with yourself within, but that's a whole power. Figure that out. Figure out what your absolute value is, negative and positive. And then you will begin to see that all things that happens and goes on in your life is a gain. Nothing's a negative. Negatives are only within the equation. It's always going to happen. It's polarity. It's duality. You can't, if you always winning in a basketball game, like you just number one champion, and you constantly every year you go through a 20-0 record, 20-0 record for 5 years straight. Do you feel? I'm not saying be a loser, but do you feel like you gaining from that? What are you gaining? Yeah, I wish I could stick this phone back up. You ain't gaining. There's no gain. There is no absolute gain in that. You're not learning anything. You just constantly just being a winner. And then you walk around like you're a winner and you ain't learned shit. You just go to practice or you don't even go to practice. What did Al Iverson say? Practice. Practice. He didn't fuck with practice and guess what happened? His career ended shortly. I'm not talking about the men, but I'm just saying it's a balance in it all. There's still more time to grow. There's still more time to learn. Don't cut yourself off. Don't. There's no time to do that. You always got to learn. Everything is of absolute value. There's always going to be a negative within the equation. Always. You know, it's time. There's time and then there's no time. And you got to figure it out quickly because what's going on in this world, you know, you're going to be stuck. You ain't going to be able to elevate because you didn't understand that duality, that polarity of things, that absolute value. Trusting yourself. Believe that all things are a gain. Everything will be a negative and everything will be a positive. That's just how it works. It even goes to like this. Like everybody's arms ain't the same length. Both arms ain't the same length. One eye may droop a little lower than the other. One leg might be a little bit longer than the other. What's that? There's multiple different things. It can't be, everything's not equal. Even though they try to push that. Even with the damn, my soul won't even let me say it. With the stuff. The even with that, whatever it is, nothing's even. There's always a short of a measure because time changes, dimensions change, levels change, thoughts change, you change, your taste buds change. There's a shift in everything that we do. even if it grows back. Now you cut your hair, it grows back longer. You cut your hair, sometimes it don't grow back as fast as what it did when you was 5, 6, or 10. You know, make it make sense. Understand that there's no time to think that everything is negative. Stop asking why and do. Stop asking questions and be. Go within inside yourself, meditate. Have time with yourself. If you believe, you know, in the higher God, or Jesus Christ and whatever, I'm not telling you what you believe in, but sit back and have time with that spirit, that positive spirit of that entity. Because if you don't, then again, you'll be lost. You'll be in that negative spell. You will continue to live in these spells with these words. And that's why I do these. That's why I do these lives, because to give you a perspective of, you know, these words or these values. Words are values. And we have to value what we say, we do, and how we move. Because if we don't, yeah, I already know what I'm going to say. If we don't, it's going to be all bad. You're going to be having negative energy always around you. And then you're going to have anxiety, depression, doubt. You won't be able to learn nothing. You won't be able to build. You're going to be constantly losing your money, constantly losing things that you put your money into. You know, this is a small analogy right here. You know, like, oh yeah, who got the boosters? Where the boosters at? I remember I used to try to get stuff from like the boosters and stuff. And I always used to just like lose it, rip my shirt, or whatever I bought from them. It was always damaged, or I didn't ever see it again. I only wore it once because there was no value in it. And I didn't care at the time, but then I started, you know, taking control and being responsible of, you know, my things and my efforts. You can't be that damn lazy. You got to have somebody go out and do something for yourself. Go out and do it by yourself. If you want somebody to go outside and steal something for you, go do it. That means you ain't got to spend no money. And that means if you get caught, then you get caught by yourself. You know? Be transparent within yourself. It don't take 2 or 3 people for you to build. It don't take 2 or 10 people for you to be in the army. You are the army. Life and its circumstances don't have nothing to do with nobody else but you. When you go through things, you always, and you know, like, oh, I always get the shit into the stick. You know why? Because it's up to you. It doesn't have anything to do with you. What's up, family? So focus on yourself and know that there's a negative, there's a positive to everything. Everything is within an absolute value, but it's up to you how you obtain the equation. It's always going to be a positive, no matter what. And with that being said, I'm out. Thank y'all again for listening. Share this, rewatch it. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day. Get y'all some sun. If the sun is still out, I hope y'all was able to gain from my perspective, and y'all can move forward within y'all week. Have a good one.